It's May 10th, Tuesday, UPBOptionMillionaires.com. About 40 minutes before the opening bell, you can see S&P 500 futures off the morning highs, but still up 0.4%. Friday's jobs report action, initial move to the downside, spring up and then ultimately closing at session highs. Yesterday, we consolidated, and overnight, just a really strong rally. See if this can hold. If you look, though, from a longer-term perspective, going back to the lows that we saw in February, you can see the action from the overnight session has come to a halt here right at the levels that we had to start April. Possible head and shoulders topping pattern here. You can look, the move up has really been unabated until the recent trend line break. And we are drawn out here. We'll see if this indeed is some sort of a top. I was talking about the 2100 level overall for S&P 500 futures acting as a barrier as it did back before the crash in August 2015. 2100 came up to 2100, and this rally here off the lows in February in 2016 ended at 2100 so far. So we'll see an interesting area here that we've come up against this morning. Possible top. We'll know later on today if that is indeed the case. U.S. dollar index continues to move off its lows that we saw last week. This time last week, the U.S. dollar index was in a free falling. And then we spiked here off the lows. U.S. dollar index has been rallying. Why? Why the yen, my friend? The yen has been weakening. We have the yen was down to 105 versus the dollar on the Tuesday low there. Nice rally, 400 pips to the upside for the dollar-yen cross, which has been bullish for the market since Abenomics in November 2012. Let's look at the VIX real quick, because the VIX was beaten down yesterday. Did Bill Ackman go long the VIX? It's a joke. But you can see the gap and grind here for the VIX yesterday, hanging around the 14 level. The VXX, it's a little beaten down, brother. Also down to new all-time lows here pre-market. New all-time low for the VXX. Let's look at some charts here. How about the QQQ? And this is a one-year daily chart. This is what I like to call the bat pattern. You can see, though, we have not reached the highs that we saw in off the lows. And you can see we had the August move down off the lows in August. Have not breached these highs here, 115 for the QQQ. It's a possibility here. That's what's going to happen. Right now, we've put in a lower high. Go back even further. 5-year chart here as well, showing a possible topping pattern out of all of the big ETFs here. The QQQ is probably the most promising if you're a bear here, which would send the price down under 100 for the QQQ S&P 500 ETF. The spiders on the flip side, bumping up against trendline resistance, but still does not look terribly bearish here. Small caps also been somewhat in a downtrend. You could draw a trend across, and that's where the recent action has stopped. So as well here, are we looking for a consolidation of some sort of a flag before we break up to 120 level? Remember, this is down to 95 back at the February lows. And one more chart to look at. Disney reports earnings today after the bell. If you look for Disney here, the top side 120, the bottom at 90. So we got a $30 range, and where are we? Just about smack in the middle of it, right in the middle of it. So this might be a good strangle straddle for a possible spike up to 120 or move down to 90. I think a $10 to $12 move is coming for Disney post earnings. UPBOptionMillionaires.com. I'll see you in the chat room. Opening bell is just a little while away. Everyone have a great trading day is what I say. Goodbye.